Hello and welcome to TK, Coach on the Rocks, and welcome to today's episode. I guess I'm going live quite a few times today. it's a bit of a overwhelm for some, but hopefully not for too many of you. And the interesting thing I wanted to talk about today is releasing when you can, and often as you can, and as frequently as you can. And essentially, it's good enough when it's good enough. Let me tell you a couple of stories. So you might be the first time tuning in to TK, Coach on the Rocks, or it might be there might be a couple of times that you're tuning in. But yeah, these shows are pretty basic. I just grab OBS, we have a very simple overlay, and I start transmitting. Um, but the interesting thing is, I'm not waiting until things are perfect, until I get the perfect sound, until I get the perfect video, just because I think that I will learn much more by just doing it, by streaming, recording, and getting things done, instead of endlessly trying to perfect them. You see, many people are suffering from what I call analysis paralysis. So, for instance, I'm working with a team recently, and they're thinking about. They're essentially what they're doing is they're helping employees in a company be eco-friendly and sustainable by recycling bottles. And they've set up a few stalls and a few bins to recycle these bottles with proper posters, and they're just afraid of expanding to other locations. They're just doing it one office. Another team has a wonderful idea of changing business by implementing music into daily work, but they're afraid, even though they have an opportunity to go and publish their ideas and business change into the wider organization, they don't. They just keep it and leave it as it is in a small team. Um, I'm the opposite. I prefer to release often and early, even if it's not perfect. Um, I like the imperfections. And by the way, hi Tony, lovely to see you, and lovely to see everyone else that tuned in. I love the small imperfections. So we've been doing live shows with my team at Humble Associates for quite a while now, and things haven't been always great behind the scenes. I once misconfigured the stream, and it just crashed midstream, so I had to cut half of the recording with a guest. Another guest went in. It went on all just fine. The problem was I had the wrong name of Gabrieli. So again, sorry so much, Gabrieli. I didn't want to do that, but I tried to put all the buttons in place, cross the T's, dot the I's, but suddenly I found out that Gabrieli's name wasn't correctly changed. So whatever you do, there was always something you will miss. I'm personally am a huge fan of okay, let's get it done, let's put it out there, let people see it, and let's iterate and improve what we think we can make better. Now, the problem is, before you put it out there, you only have assumptions about how things work. I'm personally of an opinion that assumptions, as great as they are, don't really stand a chance when it comes to the contact with the enemy, with the real users, with sometimes people consuming your value. Now, the problem is sometimes you will be gold plating, you will be fixing problems that you don't have because you think they might happen. And actually, at the end of the thing, it's not a problem because the resolution is too small, you can't see these small mishaps, so no one will ever notice. And yet you're trying to fix that, and maybe you'll miss a bigger mistake. So, what I can recommend is definitely releasing often and releasing early. There's a concept in the Agile way of work called the minimum viable product. And not that it's controversial, but there's a lot of controversy when it comes to how much of the minimum viable product, called an MVP, is actually needed. I believe there is very little that's actually needed to form an MVP. And the way I say that is to repeat the maybe added by the founder of LinkedIn, the current CEO, by saying, if you're not embarrassed by what you've released too late. each time I say it in a group, on a training session, or in a team setting, there's always someone that will say, "Oh, that's impossible! You can't do that." It's mainly because their value is that they always have to do things right. That they always have to make sure that what they produce is of great quality. I have a similar quality, which is when I say something will be done, it will be done. I'm not going to be late or anything like that. So, my word is as good as it can be, because I'll definitely make sure it happens. But for some people, it's just important to have the right quality of work. I, on the other hand, think it's not that important to do things right rather than to do the right things. Many people struggle to understand the difference, but it's very profound. We should always strive to think about what will add the most value. And sometimes what you might see, I might have had a couple of these sessions and decided that there isn't enough of an audience, there's no point doing this, and just scrap it. And I'm still doing them, so I guess it's valuable. Hello, Sariva. What I need to hear this? Well, thank you so much that you think you needed to hear this. You can always come here every day at an unknown time, because I do them impromptu. I'm trying not to plan too much. Just maybe embrace the spirit of this video. By which I mean, okay, well, I need to do it. Maybe I don't have to do it once a day, but I need to do it still. And yet, I just need that idea, and I'm going live. I'm talking to you wonderful people, and thank you for being here. So just to summarize, if you are not embarrassed by what you did, you release too late. And it's better to be done than perfect. And good enough is good enough. Believe me, people think that, oh man, if I don't release something, if I don't do something perfectly, people will mind. But tell you what, I personally think that it's just more important to do something, and people will really appreciate it. And Julie, if you are not embarrassed by what you've produced, you've released too late. And search this quote by the CEO of LinkedIn. I forgot his name, but I'm sure you'll find it. And lovely to have you here. It's amazing to have all of you. I'll give you the likes, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time for the coach on the rocks. And I'm pressing the button and ending the transmission.